As soon as tickets went on sale for it,
We got them.
we got them.
We got early release, like a special promotion where we live. Or, sorry, not where we live. There was a whole thing where about 10 minutes before we were supposed to leave, we found out that the movie was 17 minutes away.
Hey, but we made it because all that was showing wasn't actual commercials or trailers.
Yeah,
it was Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie going, "Do you know cinema? Do you like cinema?
Cinema's back.
Cinema's back."
We
baby."
went to every country.
But this is the 7th Mission Impossible movie. Tom Cruise has been doing this since 1996. And what's crazy is Jon Voight was like in the first Mission Impossible. He is older now than Jon Voight was, or the same age as Jon Voight was in that movie.
Holy shit. Tell you what, his age is starting to show.
His age is starting to show.
He still looks good. Like for a 50 or like what, 50, 55?
No, he's 61.
Oh shit. Yeah, for a
he's
61-year-old man, he was still looking pretty good.
You can definitely tell he's aging now. Him being the one doing his own stunts makes the difference. Like I turned to you during like the paragliding part where I was like, dude, I love that it's just him. You can see his face as he's making the turns and stuff. It was really cool.
I think that's one of my favorite parts is when he does that motorcycle stunt off the mountain and the sound cuts out as he's skydiving.
And then when it cuts back in,
yeah,
that was really good, yeah. Just as a heads up, we're going to do spoilers.
Oh, yeah, I think is full spoilers. I feel like it wasn't as... I mean, we saw John Wick 4 earlier.
No, John Wick 4 is, I feel like, a little better than this movie. For sure.
Even in terms of like the other Mission Impossible. And full disclosure, I haven't seen Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3.
We'll get to those ones. We'll get to those ones.
I've seen like snippets of 3. I remember there's like bombs in someone's brain.
That's J.J. Abrams, so I think you'll love 3. Okay. The first one's good. It's just really slow. Yeah. It's like thriller more than anything.
Out of like Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout, I think the previous ones are a little better. And even though I can't fully remember Rogue Nation, but I know that I like the action in Ghost Protocol and Fallout a little bit more.
Fallout and Ghost Protocol are my 2 favorites. What do you think about the villain? Because I feel like we have a lot to say about the villain.
Full disclosure, because I feel like this is a big spoiler. The main villain of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning is AI. Rogue AI that has begun to think on its own, and it took down, like, it's starting to do its own missions and terrorize people, and it's doing all sorts of crazy shit.
It sees that Ethan Hunt is going to be the one that brings it down, which is odd.
Yeah, I know they're supposed to be, like, fantastical spy thriller, like, crazy fanfic type shit, right? Like, Russia has this secret weapon, and America has the only guy that can take him down. But this one seems the most, like, far-fetched, you know what I mean?
It's a little far-fetched.
Especially because of how, like, omnipotent the AI is and how they talk about it and how it's treated in certain like shots.
That's the thing. It got 2 predictions wrong. So the mouthpiece villain for the entity is someone from Ethan Hunt's past that hasn't been introduced until the 7th movie. So it's a little hard to connect with it. I feel like it should have been someone from the past that we knew, but he's here and the entity is speaking to him and telling him like what to do.
Oh, magic conch shell, what do we need to do to get out of the kelp forest?
Nothing.
The entity's making him a ghost on camera so you can't see him except for reflections. He's not handled the best. And I think it's because the entity basically tells him things that is gonna happen. He tells Hayley Atwell that Ethan Hunt is gonna promise him that he can keep her safe, but he's not gonna be able to. Spoilers, but right after Rebecca Ferguson's character is sadly killed, she's like, oh, are you gonna tell me that you can protect me? He's like, no, I can't tell you that. I can't promise you that because I don't know who I can trust. I don't know what to believe anymore. That was one case of the AI being wrong. And then again at the end of the movie, he says that I'm gonna have the key tomorrow. So technically I guess it was right because he did have the key for a second, but Ethan Hunt swiped it. And I'm like, so out of all the probabilities, you didn't see that Ethan Hunt could have swiped the key from him? It's so weird. Which again, there's a lot of conveniences this movie takes. But like overall, it's not like up there with my favorite Mission Impossibles, but you gotta give it to them. Every time there's a new Mission Impossible, it hits. Even though we didn't like it that much and it wasn't like better than Fallout or anything, it was 2 hours and 43 minutes and I was not bored.
No, yeah.
Not a single time.
To the screen.
Not a single time was I bored. Not a single time was I looking at my watch like how much longer is there? Like Indiana Jones earlier this year. Like that movie was long as shit and I checked my watch at least twice because I was like, how much longer do we have in this? Like,
fuck me!
But like this move, Tom Cruise is so good, Haley Atwell is so good, the character interplays is so good, Ving Rhames as Luther is so good in this movie, Simon Pegg as Benji. I don't understand why the Entity chose between Rebecca Ferguson or Haley Atwell. Why not Rebecca Ferguson and Benji?
Yeah. Who I thought was going to die in this movie.
Who I thought was going to die twice. Why not put it between two characters that we've known and loved for multiple movies, and then have Haley Atwell be the cool, fun thief like she is in the movie? Because she's fantastic. I love her chemistry with Tom Cruise. They were having a lot of fun in that Rome chase scene. So what'd you think about the big marketing set piece? Him jumping off the motorcycle on the cliff?
I thought that was really cool.
I thought it was a good staging for a third act.
I thought that whole bit of him trying to catch the train was super funny. There was a lot of jump cuts in this movie that don't work, I feel like. But that jump cut of them going through the plan and being like, all right, this is when it's going to happen. This is when it's going down. And then they show all the stuff on the train with Haley Atwell doing her disguise and, you know, playing that whole thing out. And then they just jump cut back to Tom Cruise on the motorcycle and he goes, I missed the train.
And then Benji's like, you what?
I love him skydiving through the air and the parachute, like, coming up to the train. What I don't like is how he gets in the train through the parachute.
Yeah.
You know, how he, like, smashes through the side, like...
And hits,
whoever that fucking guy is, yeah.
He was with Vanessa Kirby in the other ones, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If I'm being real, I can't remember Vanessa Kirby and the other ones.
Because John Lark, that's from the last one. I'm pretty sure that's from Fallout or Rogue Nation. I can't remember which one.
I like the two... Are they just, like, secret agents? CIA agents?
CIA, FBI, something like that.
Vague one of our government agents. I love those two guys. I did think it was kind of goofy how literally every set piece they showed up at, they would also be there.
There was a lot of that.
Natural.
Every Mission Impossible has things where, like, the plot itself in all Mission Impossibles, little too complicated for its own good sometimes. Sometimes these don't need to be that complicated with so many moving parts. I really did like Mantis, the one who plays Mantis. I really loved her in this. Mantis is there. She does something at the end that's predicted, basically told to us that is going to happen 10 minutes before it actually happens. So it wasn't that big of a surprise that she turned and all this stuff, and it wasn't like a big emotional beat as I thought. Also, Rebecca Ferguson dying, I was sad because I actually love Ilsa. I think she's a good character, but it didn't hit me as hard because I knew it was going to be her. It's right there with MI3 and Rogue Nation, kind of just in that ballpark. It's still great. The second one's the worst, which I can't wait for us to get to that because I think you'll love it.
I can't wait to see the first Mission Impossible. I don't know anything about that movie other than that one scene, which is, you know,
the biggest scene.
The biggest scene with the lasers and the zip line. You know, I had a fun time with this movie, even though there was a bunch of little weird things that I thought...
It's still just a solid action movie.
Yeah.
I think I'd give it 4 out of 5 Tom Cruise running scenes. I just love these Mission Impossible movies. I've been watching them since I was a little kid. The first one came out the year I was born. Ethan Hunt is my James Bond.
Yeah.
James Bond gets traded out with actors. Tom Cruise has been our James Bond, our Ethan Hunt, our entire lives, and he's been killing it. And I feel like this movie was a little hurt by being part 1 of 2, but I'm excited to see what part 2 is because that feels like a full movie. You know what I mean?
I give it 3.5 Simon Peggs out of 5. I thought the movie was fun. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the action scenes were decent. Again, not as cool as, you know, previous entries, I feel like. But I'm excited to see how this ends. I'm excited to see how they take down, you know,
the Entity.
Zuckerberg's AI.
It's just odd. My favorite thing is we left the theater and I told you, as soon as I saw the opening of this movie and saw the submarine float to the bottom, I was like, I didn't see any marketing about a cool underwater action sequence, so we're gonna go to that one in Dead Reckoning Part 2.
I'm sorry, you know what else it is I don't like whatever that guy's name is, Tom Cruise's like opposite. I don't like how fanatical he is about the Entity.
I don't like how fanatical he is about it, and I don't like how his followers also are just kind of like, yep,
yeah, because
he knows everything, but he doesn't. Before he makes that big jump, he thinks about Rebecca Ferguson, he thinks about Haley Atwell, and then he thinks about this random chick from before in this like made up backstory for Dead Reckoning, right? Whereas we didn't see his wife, his actual ex-wife in his head, but we saw this random chick and Haley Atwell, people he's just met. This one took a lot suspension of disbelief in certain areas with certain gags, certain action set pieces sometimes, and then certain character motivations. This feels like Mission Impossible 2 in the sense that Mission Impossible 2 and this feel the closest to a Fast and the Furious movie than anything else. Oh, check out that new Wonka trailer.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.